Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode of Cafe Cheshme TV.
おはようございます。
So, how are you doing?
Doing good. Today's a bit easier because the heat is kind of going away because of the rain.
Nah.
However, some emergency alert is happening down south.
That's right. All day we've been seeing warnings coming in on the cell phones.
Yeah. I think this Tokyo area gonna have the heavier rain tomorrow, but I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
Well, hopefully it'll be okay and good excuse to stay home and stay dry.
Please do not go to the river in your neighborhood.
For those who don't live in Japan, every time there's a storm, the next day's headline is somebody went to check the river and fell in. It's kind of a summer ritual here during typhoon season, or someone went on top of their roof to fix it suddenly in the middle of a storm. So don't. It's terrible.
そうちょっと大雨警報が出ておりますけれども、東京は多分そうでもないと思うけど、川を見に行くとかはやめてね。
大丈夫。
大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。
So, Cafe Cheshme TV. What is Cafe Cheshme?
That's a good question. It's been so long since even we've been there. We should probably tell people what it is.
レックさんは知っているけれども。Hello, Annie.
Ah, hi Annie, hi Lex.
We're about to talk about Cafe Cheshme.
Okay, do you want me to show a picture of Cafe Cheshme?
Yes, please.
Hi, picture this.
Oh, look at the beauty.
Wow.
That's the Cafe Cheshme, tiny haven.
Yeah, this is
For artists.
a few years old photo now.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
In the center of Tokyo.
So this place is not far from Sasasuka Station, and if you are in Japan or if you've visited, it's very, very close to Shinjuku.
Yeah.
And it's a little place that all by itself is just a little place, but what do you think makes that place special?
People.
We have met the most amazing people because of this place over the years.
Yeah.
And that is what makes Cafe Cheshme, and that's what we miss the most, not being able to be there these days.
Yeah, I gather up with friends, play music.
Yeah. Should we show another picture?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Ah, beauty.
So usually when there's live music, we go back there and hang out and play music, or if there's not music on for the day, we just sort of spend time. So we are doing some upgrades to the place.
Yes. But some soundproof.
Yep. Adding a little bit of soundproofing, and we're going to do some work on the kitchen and such, and that's going to be taking place over the next 3 or 4 months, I guess.
So sweet. There's no place like
Oh.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Yes. Stay well and stay dry. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come back to us. So yeah, we thought we would introduce Cafe Cheshme a little bit today because we've had people kind of join on the show, and they weren't sure who we were or what this was all about.
That's Cafe Cheshme. Well, because of the situation, we honestly don't know when we can restart. However, we will keep supporting the creative community, and we will always connect with you. I don't know.
But never fear, we are going to be back there again someday. So we're going to take advantage of the time we have for the next couple of months and make the place nicer. So when we do come back, it'll be even more comfy.
Yeah, and at least friends can gather up for special occasions, or we will meet up.
Yeah. So on a lighter note, I noticed very suddenly one day that Meg was suddenly less furry than before.
Oh, that's an interesting way to say that. Ta-da!
So what did you do?
I cut 35 centimeter.
Wow. So do you want me to show a
Hello,
picture
Dale.
talking about what you're doing with your hair?
Yes.
Okay.
So I donated my hair to hair donation project called Hero. They're located in Tohoku. And probably one of the tiniest place, but I like what they're doing there. They're still struggling in north side. And my half of the hair can help somebody. That's great.
Yeah. So they use the hair to make wigs for kids?
Yeah. Cancer とか who doesn't have hair. And they could buy the cheap hair from Amazon, but it's really wiggy.
So this gives kids real, genuine
real
hair.
hair. Real wig.
That's really nice. And this is very cute. I like it.
Thank you. So if you're thinking to cut your hair, it has to be longer than 31 centimeter.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
So 31 centimeters, and it will go out to kids who can.
Yeah, who wants longer hair but can't have?
Yeah, that's nice. That's sweet of you. Thank you.
No, I was thinking to cut and it's cool, it's short, it's light, and hair can help somebody.
And it defies gravity when it's humid.
My hair, yes.
So I think on that note, why don't we introduce our special guest tonight?
Oh, then go to the music later?
Yeah.
Okay. So today's special guest. Drum roll.
David Prescott Steed.
Ta-da! Hello!
Hello. I'm so happy to be back. It's great to spend time with you both.
Thank you for
Thank you so
making
much for having
time.
me on your show.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming, and it's great to see you again. It's been way too long.
Yes, it has. Way too long. But I'm back and I'm looking forward to talking about art and music with you.
We have a cool night on tonight. Do you want to talk a little bit about tonight's theme?
Today we just introduce some of our friends' new music.
Okay, so these are artists who are both local and scattered around the planet.
Yes.
Very cool.
Then we're gonna go to David's music video and we're gonna talk all about how he sampled the sound and how he spent his music with his modular.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Cheryl. Nice to see you. And Dale, are you guys doing pizza tonight? Because we've got to get a point where we join you for pizza for these nights.
It's about time.
Man. So who have we got up first tonight for music?
Long Hours.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about who Long Hours
He
are?
came to our cafe back in 2019 as a Japan tour. Do you remember?
I do. That was wild.
Julian Medor. He's from Australia too.
Julian is this wonderfully raw musician. His stuff reminds us of bands like,
I thought his performance is kind of like the birthday party, the
Mm.
early Nick Cave
Yeah, it's got
feel, or Suicide, or
it's dark, it's intense, it's punkish and
Yeah,
melodic at the same
post-punk.
time. It's so
the
amazing.
intensity
Yeah.
building up, kind of boiling up.
And we love following him on Facebook because he has these incredible videos and images from his shows which just look completely out of control. They're wonderful.
But first, we were not sure to have him at our cafe because our stage is traditional Japanese style. Paper window, soft floor, but he promised to behave well. So We've decided, and that turned out to be, epic.
It was so
Night.
cool. If you can imagine that little tatami room with like a birthday party kind of punkish thing going on in there, straight out of like 79 or 80.
But he could manage to just move,
I love his stuff. It's so cool.
So we'll just, play one song from his new album, Love is Overrated. Awesome title too.
Okay, here we go. This is Long Hours.
I see you coming. I see you coming like a snake through the graveyard. I see you coming. Oh, I see you coming. All the venom, all the fangs from the dead. I see you coming. I see you coming. I see you coming like a snake through the graveyard. I see you coming, I see you coming, I see you coming like a snake through the graveyard. I see you coming, I see you coming, your tongue is licking at the souls of the dead. Scales, cold as stone, scales, cold as stone. You're gonna die alone, 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 you're gonna die alone. I see you coming. I see you coming. I see you coming. I see you coming. I see you coming like a snake through the graveyard. You've been bit. You've been bit. You've been bit by the snake in the graveyard. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. You're gonna die from the snake in the graveyard. You've been bit. You've been bit. You've been bit by the snake in the graveyard. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. You're gonna die in the snake from the graveyard. You're gonna die alone. 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 You're gonna die alone.
Oh, uplifting song.
I just love the raw energy, and when he performs, that energy is like on steroids.
こういうやつ.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. He's so amazing.
That's somehow catchy though. You gotta die alone. You gotta die.
Yeah, it's very punky. It's very, very punky. So that song was done for the Creative Song
So our
Challenge
creative song challenge. Make
So-
a cut to his new album.
4 months ago, right?
So we are running the new creative challenge. This time the theme is
Reflecting Skin and The Edge.
so you're welcome to join, Joan.
So you don't need to be a musician to join. You can do it
Poetry とか
writing, speaking, performance art, anything you want to do in those themes, you can join.
ちかこさんどうですか？創作チャレンジ。And hello Eddie, nice to meet you.
So I hope if you guys are interested, just drop us a message and let us know that you're interested, and we'll put you in the lineup. What's the date for that?
September 4th Saturday.
4th Saturday in September. We'll put it up on the website.
That's on the website, but okay.
Already? Okay. So are you doing a song for that?
I'd love to do something with the reflecting skin,
Hmm.
but yeah, I have to think about that.
I started writing lyrics this morning for The Edge.
Okay.
So I think we'll both have songs again this time. And it's great because we have such a diversity of artists who join these, and the interpretations of the themes are so vastly different.
ご参加お待ちしてます。
So what's next?
みほさんです。
Miho-san!
いやー、みほさんです。みほ。あ、ちかこさん、テーマは反射する肌かエッジ。エッジは辞書で調べて好きな感じの捉え方でいいです。後で送ります。So Miho-san was playing in the legendary klezmer band, the Dead Sea Dropouts. Now they're
Amazing.
taking the long break, but she's playing solo or helping other bands, I think, too.
And she was kind of anchoring Gamaso when they were open as well, right?
Yeah.
So she was organizing events over there and doing all sorts of cool things at, another one of the small spots in Tokyo that have been, an anchor for some of the creative community here.
今はちょっとね、
Yeah.
you can't do that, but yeah.
And she is an accordion player.
Yes. ヘビーメタル大好きなんだよね。
She's really incredible. I miss seeing, their performances were just absolutely brilliant.
So she sent us her latest
Very cool.
practice. Just, check out her hat. It's so cute.
Should I roll it?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go with Miho. Yay!
Miho, Miho.
Wow, that was really great to see Miho. I love her playing, and that accordion is so cool that she's playing this time.
I love her.
She's amazing.
She doesn't have her solo site or anything yet, but she will. She will.
Yeah, definitely. She's really amazing. She's such a cool person and unbelievably talented. And her solo work is really quite phenomenal. And the stuff she was doing with Dead Sea Dropouts was just. I mean, if you've never seen them, I hope if they do other shows when things are better that you get out to see them, because they are absolutely amazing.
When she does DJ, she plays heavy metal.
Yeah. And she likes dark music in general, I think.
Iron Maiden が好きなんです。
So cool. And Gamaso was so much fun to hang out, because it was a kind of place that if you had like a weird idea, like we wanted to do an 80s industrial night, she let us do that over there, and that was so much
that
fun.
was fun.
Yeah.
Miho-san.
Mio-san!
And last but not
Last
least,
video.
but David is the last. So,
Next to last.
okay, next to last. The Lonely Harps Club.
And that is a friend of ours who used to be
Julia.
here in Tokyo.
Julia Masari. When did she go back?
I think just
2020
before the
got-
pandemic got started, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So she's a harp player, and she does really interesting things with it. I mean, it's like alternative pop with harps.
She does classical stuff too, but her original stuff is big because she's gothy, so big gothy, beautiful.
Yeah, one of my tribe.
Artsy. Yeah.
She's amazing. She's just absolutely wonderful and such a sweet person.
I mean, she's been playing harp a long time, but this is just as a new name, as the Lonely Harps Club. She released her debut album,
Okay.
yeah, this year.
And-
Long Game is
Yeah.
the title.
Okay.
And we just play one song from that new album.
Okay. This is Lonely Harps Club. Here we go.
I don't have money or breeding, but you bet I got flair, and I'm pushing it full of feeling, but I could never live right. There's no honest work, just alternative facts. Selling dreams to make up for what you lack. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. The story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. The story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. I'm a serial euphemizer, get it done to be none the wiser of a methodology as long as we deliver. My eyes are wide, my tongue is silver. No honest work, just alternative facts. Selling dreams won't make up for what you lack. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. The story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. The story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. Come on, sweetheart, spin me. It's a fairground and you win me. You don't wanna see what's in me. He made me feel like nothing else. The way that I've been living, well, it's safe while I am winning. As long as I can stay convincing, but I'm running out of words. Will you forgive me? I only did what I could. For all I was good for was pretending I was any good. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. Your story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. Your story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. Your story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that spin. Your story's wearing thin, but on your dancing shoes and spin.
Yay!
Wow.
That's her new project.
That's amazing.
The video is cool too.
So, David, have you ever had a harp involved with your music?
No, but I've never had much to do with harps at all, but I think that it would be worth exploring. Yeah,
She's so amazing.
it looks amazing.
What was this song? She was doing some covers of Cranberries one of the last times we saw her play live.
Zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was absolutely fantastic with the harp and her voice.
I love her purple little harp.
Ah, yeah. She's got this giant harp that she would bring sometimes, but then she had this smaller, more portable purple one
Yeah.
that was so cute. It was kind of like a very mod harp, if
That
you can
was
have
so
a mod
good.
harp. Yeah. We miss her. She's really wonderful, and
We
I'm
miss
so
you.
excited that she's doing this new album. So looking forward to hearing more and seeing more of her work.
Yeah.
And Joan was saying that she thought that was fantastic, and she loved the typewriter.
Yeah, typewriter is cool.
Yeah, that video is really nice.
Mm.
The high production.
Yeah.
Sounds more like a band too. Ne?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Julia, thank you so much. And we really can't wait to hear more and see what more you're going to be doing out there. And hopefully, either when we're over there or you're over here, we'd love to see you play again.
Yes, please.
Onegaishimasu.
When we can enjoy live music together.
Yes. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there. So, today's main event.
Yay! David Prescott's tea.
Yay!
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to the folks?
Yeah, hello. I'm David. I live in Melbourne. and I used to be a painter, but since I moved to Melbourne about 10, 12 years ago, because I had nowhere to paint, I thought, well, I'm creative, right? So I've got to rethink my practice. And I became involved in the local experimental music community, and they're such an amazing, eclectic, diverse group of people, and I just became hooked, and I have never turned back. Yeah,
Wonderful.
very lucky to be here.
It's very nice to have you back. You were on our show. Wow, it was quite a while ago.
Last year?
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe last November, perhaps.
Wow.
Not sure.
It's too long.
We were not planning to do online show this long. We were supposed to go back to cafe, but well.
Yeah. So before we started the stream tonight, we were talking a little bit about the creative process, and you were talking about how you have to, when the idea gets in your head, you've got to get that out.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us a little bit about your creative process and the tools you're using.
Sometimes it's not often that I wake up in the morning with a song in my head. When I do that, I know that I've got a spare few kilojoules that I can burn off, and those times I usually race to a guitar to just get the main idea down, or if it's 3 or 4 a.m., I go into the spare room and get my audio recorder out, and I'll hum it very, very quietly, but just enough to get the notes. But usually what I do is I like to walk, and especially with lockdowns, walking has become even more of a life-saving strategy than it ever has been. You know, just getting that daily fresh air, and so I'd spend a lot of time walking and doing field recordings. So maybe I would have with me a handheld recorder or a couple of like a MixPre sound devices recorder and a couple of microphones, and I'll take maybe 10 or 15 minutes of a field recording. But I would take that home and then pick out the little pieces that I might be able to use in the future. Maybe a tram sound or a truck or a bird or anything really, but just take out tiny pieces that become raw material for future improvisation or a composition. So that got lost a little bit, to be honest, when I got into modular, because of modular being that, you know, that rabbit hole of sonic exploration. And I've really loved that side of things. There's a really excellent modular community based in Melbourne called the Modular Theme Time Session, and we, especially over lockdown, I got involved with them. It's organised by Adrian Michelle, and Ash Cadell does a lot of the sound mastering and engineering and that kind of thing. They're wonderful, wonderful people to work with, and this modular theme time is about getting people to add layers in rounds to build up tracks, so we can still feel productive when we're remote. We can still feel connected when we're not physically in each other's presence. So that's been an absolutely amazing project to be a part of, and it's a way that I've been able to learn more and more about modular. And so some of the modular things that I record independently have made their way onto, like the track, for example, that I've shared with you tonight. But that also involves samples, so I'll basically bring in these little snippets of sound into Ableton, Ableton Live 11, and just mess around and find patterns within these sounds between each other that, you know, they don't have to tell you where they're from, or they don't have to be familiar. I might pitch shift them or run them through lots of effects. But really just using them like raw material to mold something new.
That's wonderful. It's so great to hear about the modular scene and the interconnectivity that's still going on during the pandemic. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've actually joked about this idea of the modular theme time session being a way of of patching people together. This whole idea of patching, because that's what we do. We're patching cables into plugs and creating new patterns and getting lost in that very physical process of sculpting electricity, basically, without necessarily having an idea of what it's going to sound like at the end of the day.
We can actually see over your shoulder the patch
You can
cables.
see that.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. It's good to keep them out. They usually end up in a big pile on the floor, or if I've been really involved in a session, they'll end up just thrown around the place. But yeah, I like to always have to have them tidied up at the end of the day, so I know I'm not rolling over them with my chair or something like that. Yeah.
You said something when we were setting up tonight that I found just so charming, where when you were working on an idea, you might end up on your bed covered in cables.
Yes, yeah, that Kafka-esque kind of dilemma. Not quite sure how I got there, but nevertheless having to deal with the consequences.
Modular is so complex and yet intuitive and endless and yet challenging in the sense that there are constraints as well. I think it's such an interesting instrument, you know. It really because you create it yourself too. Yeah,
of course. You've got these amazing companies like Serpens Modular in Melbourne, or the more internationally known like Erica Synths from Latvia, and they make these incredible devices, but you select from the smorgasbord of possibility and you essentially compose your own instrument, and then within that it could, depending on how you patch it, it could make a whole vastly different kind of palette of sounds. It's really amazing, but you know, it can be very expensive, so mine is very limited, but there are some incredible systems out there, and just they're astounding. What can be done with them is quite incredible.
Really, I think one of the things I've found interesting is, and you were talking about this a little bit earlier as well, how you can let yourself go into that creative process. And I think for a lot of us as musicians, we think in terms of a very structured things, because you're writing songs a lot of the time, and so you're thinking, okay, I need this, but the modular opens up doors to kind of a completely different approach.
Yeah, it's very hard. I mean, I love music. I love music. I grew up in Kate Bush and Gary Newman and, all those, Adam Ant, and then went through the Iron Maiden and or the hair metal. So I love music, but I think that one of the draw cards for me, for modular, is the way it encourages me to not try to make music. And it depends on what your tools are or what your aims are. But I like the idea that I can have a sonic encounter with an instrument, but not necessarily make music. And it forces me to confront those expectations. I think sampling music does that a lot, and improvisation. I think with the Melbourne sort of the Melbourne experimental music community, that's one thing I think a lot of us share, an interest in trying to forget about musical constraints and look for possibilities beyond those.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, modular does that for me. Sampling does that for me. And I guess in a way that sampling, the idea that the whole world is an instrument and it's full of hidden music, and the skill then becomes not about how you play, but how you learn to listen differently. And then you hear music in places where it's least expected, and I think therefore where it's most surprising, and another kind of pleasure or joy, a love of the world becomes possible. I mean, I think that maybe talking about love of the world might sound rather cliched and a bit kind of soppy, but You know, I often, and I think I mentioned this last time, this idea that, like Murray Sheffer talking about the ear as an erotic orifice, and even beyond erotics, this idea of intimacy and how we experience the world around us. And we live in a very visually saturated society. You know, it privileges visual experience, but there's a whole universe of sound that is there, that we can, you know, that we kind of, it's in a way it becomes a bit like the byproducts of the world, or another kind of waste product. A sound is made and then it's gone, and then it's sort of lost. But I like to capture those things. I like to rescue them from refuse and recycle them and make something with them that I can share.
Beautiful. Actually, Joan, one of our viewers tonight, our good friend Joan, is asking, what is modular? Do you think you have something you could kind of show her?
Yeah. It might be. I'll just put another light on maybe, because it makes sure that it's actually light enough in here for you. So hopefully. So let's have a look. Move this. Actually, I should have brought it up and done it the other way, but that's modular. Basically, each individual component does something. Some make sound, some make patterns, some combine voltage, because essentially what you're doing is you're directing electricity. Some are switches, so you can turn sounds on or off, or different electronic pathways on or off. You can do different things with timing, but basically you're buying these individual components and joining them up with these patch cables.
And is that a sequencer to the left of your rig?
Yeah, that's a Doepfer dark time sequencer. So I can use that with MIDI, which is commonly used in instruments, or I can actually patch it up using the little jacks on the back, putting wires in, and then connecting that up with different modules on that system. So this makes sound and it makes patterns, so I can actually, it has a sequencer built in. This is the Moog DFAM. This is the Erica Synth bassline, so it's a sound module, it's a voice. It has the oscillator and a filter, but it doesn't actually know what to play and when to play it. So a device like this will actually tell it, oh, play this note and play it now. So those are, so you have more control. Some people really like presets on synthesizers, like I like that as well. But it's a level of control, I think, which is really interesting to have in a modular synthesizer.
It's quite incredible. I think, you know, the first time that we were exposed to them by the community here, you know, it's almost, I mean, I think the only thing I could describe is what people were doing with that technology was like witchcraft with machines.
Yeah, I love that idea. But it is, you are kind of conjuring stuff out of just electricity. Yeah.
I think we should let folks hear your music
Yeah.
so they can get a sense of what you're doing with this.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the video we'll play?
The video has lots of different samples in it. Mixed, for example, samples I got when I was staying in Amsterdam of bells and bell shops. It has modular textural elements that I've produced in this room here. But the video is all done at the Faulkner Memorial Park, which is the largest cemetery by land size in Victoria, Australia. And I live incredibly close to it. And I love it so much. It's such a peaceful place. And the track is called Rapid Passage, because inspired by the Situationist International and the idea of the derive, the aimless drift, rapid passage through various ambiences. And the cemetery is full of different zones and the footage is taken there.
Beautiful. Here we
Let's
go.
see and hear it. Oh,
Beautiful.
felt so good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There were moments when I felt sounds were moving in quite a number of dimensions. So how are you doing that? Like there was a bell tone that was very at the front at one moment, and then it seemed to recede behind us almost. It was a really interesting sound.
I like to mess around a lot with delays and reverb, so sometimes when people fade out a sound, it's as simple as turning the volume down. What I like to do is I like to turn the volume down but increase the wet of a reverb. So when you have the sound going into a reverb, and then you can actually change how much of the original sound you want and how much of the affected sound. So I like to turn down the volume but also increase the wet reverb, and it lowers in volume, but it also sounds like it's drifting off into the distance, like walking away from you. So I like to do that as a kind of fade. That's how I fade out a lot of my tracks. So I use that within songs or within tracks as well to create some kind of movement.
It's really beautiful.
So interesting. We know the fading out, but your sound is kind of like around us.
Yeah, it's
like, yeah,
immersive, right?
yeah.
Oh.
So you had a question while we were watching as well about the organic versus the modular.
So you using lots of sampling sounds, or is it how much sampling sounds and?
There's quite a bit of modular in that one. I'll probably have the modular as a textural bed, and then I might have samples that I kind of punctuate it with. But a lot of it will be a textural bed from the modular. Yeah.
Wow, sounds so organic.
Yeah, there were a lot of moments where there was a sound that reminded me a little bit of walking on a really old porch, where it had that kind of
creak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that creaky sound. It was probably about halfway, and it repeated maybe about 8 times. That particular sound is, and I know it kind of ruins the mystique of the track and everything, but I like to admit that it is one of those little rubber pigs that you squeeze and it snorts. But what I'll do is I'll just do a and then I'll sample that. Well, I won't do it, but I'll cause the toy to do it, and I'll sample that sound and pitch it down and slow it down. But I'll record it maybe at 192 kilohertz and 24-bit depth, so it's ultra high resolution. So when I stretch it out, it still remains. It doesn't kind of fall apart. It still sounds quite clear.
It's incredible. It's so funny you mentioned that. We have a friend, Sam Bennett, here in Tokyo.
Who used that rubber pig and rubber chicken.
Oh, right.
And does some quite extraordinary things with them as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love that. I love that idea of it's just a really practical way of disconnecting sounds from their conventional meaning and making them a little bit alien and uncertain, and then they become available for other things, maybe more interesting things beyond what we expect them to be. A bit like people.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I enjoy the just trying to concentrate and try to catch every sound.
Yeah.
And what sound is this? And like
And-
walking in the woods and listening to the natural sounds, kind of similar to that.
Very much. It was so beautiful. And
you.
actually, Ogu's on here.
Ogu too.
Yeah, he's one of our local ambient music artists, and
Ah.
and
Oh, that's
it's too small for me to read. What does he say?
arigatou gozaimasu. Other, modular lovers are here too.
Ah, yes.
And Ashley
Good.
Scott is here too. Ashley.
Ashley. Ina, that's so beautiful. And so, do you have some albums that people can get out there and get a hold of?
A lot of the stuff I've been a part of recently is group effort. So the modular theme time session there, if you look on Bandcamp, and there's a whole range of editions of this project. We're actually in number 7 right now, so we're currently building a track in these newly formed groups. But there was one opportunity that we got to play together in person, and that was for the album that's on Bandcamp called Game of Drones, where we a bunch of modular lunatics got together at a recording studio in in Brunswick, a local suburb, and Ash was there, and Adrian Michelle was there, and we just came up with this sort of a guidelines. Okay, so let's try this. Let's do something really droney, or why don't you try something percussive? And we just went for it for about 3 or 4 hours because we knew the rareness of the opportunity between lockdowns, and we were just loving playing alongside each other. And then the organisers of the event they took it away, all our recordings, and selected a series of maybe 5 or 6 minute nice bits, amongst the enormity of the recordings, and released it as Game of Drones. And so it's available on Bandcamp and lots of others to do with this project as well. So that most of my stuff's been around that. I'm actually currently in the final stages of a project with a local field recording sound artist by the name of Eamon Sprod, who goes under the pseudonym Tarab. He's has a really incredible ability to treat sound like raw material, and we're working on a project about underground spaces, where we've done recordings of like sort of infrastructure, underground tunnels and things like that. So that hopefully, and the label Unfathomless have been very, very supportive. So hopefully we'll see that released maybe early next year.
Oh, looking forward to
That's
it.
wonderful. Keep us posted. We'll make sure that we get that
Yes,
posted
I
out
will
on
do.
all our pages.
Yes,
Ina.
thank you, I will.
Wow. I mean, this has been a real treat, and it's been so
Yeah.
lovely to see you again. And we would love to invite you to join one of the Ambient Dreams nights as well, along with some of
Yeah.
the locals.
That sounds amazing. I'd love to be a part of that. It'd be great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for making time for us.
No problem at all. You're very welcome.
Wow. Well, that's our show tonight, isn't it?
I had fun.
Yeah. This is so wonderful. It's been so lovely spending the evening with you, David, and all of our folks out there who are watching tonight. Thank you so much for your support and for coming out to hear.
Ashley gonna be on our show on September 11th, yes? Ashley? Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yay.
Another ambient, I think.
Yeah, we have such a wonderful connection to Australia, and so many just incredible artists there that we keep wishing that at some point soon we can go to Australia and see everybody in the real world.
Mm.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been to Australia.
I've only been to Sydney for work, and I didn't really get to see anything creative while I was there, so I think we're overdue for doing that when things are
Yeah,
safe.
no, we have so many reasons to come down there now.
Indeed, especially I think in your neck of the woods, the creativity just seems to be out of control
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be wonderful to have you here and to show you around and to introduce you to heaps of people, and it'd be great. Hopefully in the not too distant
hopefully.
future.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
yeah. Everyone's got to look after each other.
Yep. Take it safe, and hopefully we'll get over
Yeah.
this hump soon.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you everybody for watching tonight. And next
Thank you.
show,
ありがとうございます。
next show,
Sam, I know a night with the Troubadours. They will be what? 24th? I'm so stupid. I have to check the calendar.
No.
Oh, 28th.
28th.
Yeah. 28th, we're gonna have our poet, Sam Bennett.
Yep.
And first time Jeffrey Johnson and Taylor Mignon. So it's gonna be real poetry reading probably and more experimental sounds and
Very cool. Looking forward to that. So on that note, we'll say goodnight to everybody. David Prescott Steed, arigato.
thank you.
Thank you.
Arigato. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Stay safe, everybody. Take care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.